Hello, you're watching VNA News Bulletin. I'm Mong from Hanoi and other headlines as usual.
Deputies elect National Assembly Vice Chairpersons. Fruit and vegetable exports hit $526 million. Pho whets Mexicans' appetite for Vietnam's culinary culture.
On the afternoon of April 4th, National Assembly deputies voted to elect vice chairpersons of the legislature and members of the National Assembly Standing Committee of the 13th annual.
Earlier in the morning session, the National Assembly Standing Committee submitted a list of candidates for the positions of National Assembly vice chairpersons and members of the National Assembly Standing Committee. The candidates for the position of National Assembly Vice Chairpersons are Phùng Quốc Hiển, Party Central Committee member, incumbent member of the National Assembly Standing Committee and Chairman of the National Assembly Finance Budget Committee, and General Đỗ Bá Tị, Party Central Committee member, Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army and Deputy Minister of National Defense. Meanwhile, 7 candidates were named for election to the National Assembly Standing Committee. National Assembly deputies then discussed in groups and voted on the list of candidates. The results of the elections will be announced on April the 5th. Also, on April 4th, State President Trần Đại Quang submitted to the National Assembly a proposal for approval of a diplomatic note on an agreement between Vietnam and the U.S. regarding visa issuance. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Phạm Bình Minh presented a report on the diplomatic note.
Minister of Finance Đinh Tiến Dũng led a Vietnamese delegation to attend the 20th ASEAN Finance Ministers meeting, which took place in the Lao capital of Vientiane on April 4th.
At the event, delegates heard the chair's reports on the implementation of initiatives related to the infrastructure assistance, insurance, customs, terrorism and money laundering in the ASEAN Financial Cooperation Channel. The Finance Minister of Indonesia delivered a speech on plans to organize the 11th Investment Promotion Conference of ASEAN Finance Ministers in November. Meanwhile, the Finance Minister of the Philippines briefed participants on the country's activities next year as it assumes the chair of ASEAN in 2017. Earlier, Minister Đinh Tiến Dũng and his Lao counterpart Liên Tý Kieu signed a cooperation agreement between the two ministries for the 2016-2020 period. The document will orient bilateral collaboration activities, prioritizing the completion of the Laos finance strategy, legal framework, institutional reform, training scheme for senior officials, and high-level delegation exchanges. It also covers investment in infrastructure and equipment for Laos training facilities.
The Vietnamese Government Inspectorate and the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications signed a memorandum of understanding in Tokyo on April 4th with a view to stepping up bilateral cooperation.
The signing was part of the working visit to Japan by Chief Government Inspector Huỳnh Phong Chanh. Meeting with Japanese Minister of Internal Affairs and Communications Sanya Takaichi the same day, Chief Government Inspector Huỳnh Phong Chanh appreciated the coordination between the Japanese Ministry and the Japan International Cooperation Agency in organizing training courses to improve the capacity of Vietnamese inspectors over the last 2 years. The two sides looked back on their recent cooperation while discussing orientations for the future. Chang said he hopes for a strengthened connection between his agency and the Japanese ministry in the years to come.
Vietnam has pledged to step up collaboration with member nations of the Southeast Asian Fisheries Development Center in preventing illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing.
Speaking at the 48th meeting of the Southeast Asian Fisheries Development Central Council in Central Hanoi Province on April 4th, Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Vũ Văn Tám said Vietnam has closely worked with regional countries in building a dialogue mechanism to exchange information and resolve issues relating to fishing activities in each other's territorial waters in a spirit of friendship and humanity. He added that the prevention of illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing should include the factors that ensure the safety of fishing boats and fishermen at sea. For his part, Chairman of the Centre, Wimon Jantrarotai, affirmed bilateral and sub-regional cooperation plays an important role to effectively deal with illegal fishing. The Centre is an intergovernmental organization established in 1967 to promote fishery development in Southeast Asia. The meeting of the Southeast Asian Fisheries Development Central Council is organized annually, alternating its location among the member nations. This year, the event attracted over 100 representatives from 10 Southeast Asian nations along with Japan. The meeting runs until April the 8th.
The Vietnam Union Friendship Organization hosted a meeting on April 4th to share information with foreign partners with the aim of working out plans to cope with the ongoing prolonged drought and stormwater intrusion in the Central Highlands and Mekong Delta regions.
The critical drought and saltwater intrusion in Vietnam over recent months have severely impacted the livelihood, food security and water sources of nearly 1.8 million local people, including 455,000 children. Thousands of hectares of crops and paddy fields were damaged, while many households are lacking clean water for their daily life, and some are facing serious health and nutrition risks. At the conference, 7 foreign non-governmental organizations and businesses promised to donate a total of $1.1 million to provide fresh water and food to 13 affected provinces. In the long term, 21 foreign non-governmental organizations committed $12.3 million from 2016 to 2019 to these localities.
The government has requested the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to closely monitor rice production and export for fear of low output this year.
The move aims to ensure domestic food security and effectively manage export activities, given that prolonged and serious drought and saline intrusion are hitting major granaries in the country, particularly in the Mekong Delta. This year, the Mekong Delta expects to plant over 4.3 million hectares of rice fields, which would yield approximately 25.7 million tons of rice. According to preliminary estimations, drought and salt water have reduced the expected output by 700,000 tons, which are equivalent to 350,000 tons of rice. In the first 3 months of this year, the country exported 1.59 million tons of rice. For the whole year, the export volume is expected to remain at last year's figure of 6.5 million tons.
Vietnam's fruit and vegetable exports raked in $526 million in the first 3 months of 2016, up 41% over the same period last year. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, China remained Vietnam's biggest importer of fruits and vegetables, accounting for 71% of its export turnover. In the first 2 months of this year alone, China imported $236 million worth of fruits and vegetables from Vietnam. Vietnam's fruits and vegetables have penetrated into several demanding markets such as Japan, the US, and the Republic of Korea. But they have still faced difficulties in seeking new markets to reduce dependency on China. Last year, fruits and vegetables were among 5 key agricultural partners for export, alongside with rice, coffee, cashew nuts, and rubber. In the first quarter of 2016, Vietnam also imported $153 million worth of fruits and vegetables, up 39% from the same period last year. A April 4th is International Day for My Awareness and Assistance in My Action. We now visit Guangxi province, where 83% of the area were contaminated with bombs, mines and explosives left from wars, to gain some insight into how the locality has been doing to alleviate plight caused by unexploded ordnances. Since 1975, Guangxi has recorded 8,459 accidents caused by unexploded ordnances, with over 3,400 deaths and more than 5,000 others injured. In 1996, Guangxi was the first locality in the country to coordinate with international organizations to alleviate the unexploded ordnance plight. The Provincial Legacy of War Coordination Center was set up in 2013 to accelerate the implementation of bomb and mine clearance projects. International organizations have provided the locality with financial assistance and equipment, together with education on the danger of unexploded ordnances. They have also helped victims be independent economically. The number of unexploded ordnance-related accidents in Guangxi dropped remarkably from 456 during 2001 to 2007 to 127 for 2008 to 2014, and many areas of unexploded ordnance-tainted land decontaminated. Besides, more than 270,000 local children have been educated about how to deal with bombs and mines. The Legacy of War Coordination Center said, between 1996 and now, the center has combed over 10 million square meters of land and found 10,000 UX cells of different kinds, providing clean land to locals to cultivate. Rome Bridge, which spans Han River in the central city of Da Nang, has won a U.S. Engineering Award. Join us to take a look.
The bridge beat tough contenders to win the American Society of Civil Engineers Outstanding Civil Engineering Achievement Award. The award honors projects that best illustrate superior civil engineering skills and represent a significant contribution to civil engineering progress in society. It celebrates the contributions of many engineers, honoring an overall project rather than an individual. Rome Bridge is shaped like a dragon whose head is designed to spit fire and spray water. The 500-meter-long body of the dragon was built using 5 1.2 meters arch steel pipes weighing 1,000 tons in total. Da Nang's Department of Transport registered the bridge for the Guinness World Record as the largest steel dragon.
Visitors to the Day of Pho, organized by the Vietnamese Embassy in Mexico on April 3rd, had a chance to gain an insight into and taste the renowned noodle soup of Vietnam. Speaking at the event, Vietnamese ambassador to Mexico, Lê Linh Lan, gave the guests a brief introduction of pho, including its significance, ingredients, recipe, and the space to enjoy. She informed the guests that April 4th has been officially announced the Day of Vietnamese Pho in Japan to highlight the representative dish of Vietnam's culture. This is the first time pho has a specific celebratory day. Pho has become popular in many countries, including the US, the UK, and Japan, Lan said, expressing her hope that this event will help Mexican people understand more about Vietnam's cuisine and culture. In addition to watching a cook from Vietnam demonstrate the making of pho, the dish was also offered for visitors to taste along with Vietnamese-style coffee. Vietnamese pho consists of broth, rice noodles, herbs, and meat. It is primarily served with either beef or chicken. And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thanks for joining us and goodbye for now.